this presentation concerns skills and competencies. The focus is mostly on computer science related activity, that is computer science and engineering, management information systems, information technology. But this can be generalized to many other subjects or topics. Right. Competencies of a person are usually put into four main categories: your attitudes, your knowledge, your personal characteristics, and skills. Your attitude are some behavior that you tend to have. Your knowledge, things you've learned, maybe by observing, by interacting, by reading, just by watching, or even sometimes by thinking and documenting what's going on, or just internalizing it. Your personal characteristics would include your physical features, some talents, some capabilities, something innate, and your skills, and these usually have to do with performing a job or interacting with people, has to do with how you can accomplish different tasks. Some of it is cognitive, that's mental, or practical. Combination can also be possible. You also have your values, and the values and context are not necessarily your competencies, but they do influence how competent you are, or how your competency would manifest itself. So if you are someone, for example, whose value or believes in a lot of putting in of hard work, growth mindset, that means if you encountered a problem that was new and you are being observed for performance, you would be willing, after failing perhaps, to take a different approach, learn new things, and improve. So your values can really affect how you progress. And the context is the environment in which whatever you're performing is occurring in. Maybe you're supposed to be someone who organizes people, and you get into a different area and people there speak a different language, have a different work culture. So the context does affect all of these. Your skills, of course, we have categorized into hard and soft skills. Hard skills being things we can measure. Do you understand loops? Do you understand programming? Or some very specific aspects of programming, such as object-oriented programming, scripting. And the other side is the soft skills, which are the social and personal skills, things that involve how you interact with people, or how you interact with yourself in your own mind. So those are the two categories. The questionnaire has a few areas. The first one concerning the organization that someone worked in or that has created. The recruitment part concerns how people find jobs or look for workers. Right? So that would ask you how long did it take, and so on. The hard and soft skills evaluations in any job, when you're looking for it or looking for someone to fill the role, you try and evaluate the person, and you will look at the hard and soft skills. So for the hard skills, you could ask the person to take a test, write you a piece of code, go in and perform a task, speak to someone. For soft skills, you could just sit and talk with a person. You can tell, or at least you should be thinking about what you're being evaluated on. You should be aware. But I hope that this interview or this questionnaire would get you thinking, so that when you encounter different scenarios or situations, you would sometimes ask, what am I being evaluated on? So if you are taken to dinner, maybe they are seeing how you sit down, your table manners, your etiquette. If you are sent an email, they may be looking at how you reply to emails, your attention to detail, your thoroughness in answering different questions that are asked, your timeliness in responding to the emails. So there are many ways that employers and employees demonstrate or are evaluated on hard and soft skills. Your training in an organization, that's the item over there, concerns how different departments will train for hard and soft skills, and also how you felt you were being trained for hard or soft skills. So the idea here is you should have an idea, you should have some concept of what is being measured. So people who are starting this should be thinking through, I know what soft skills are, I know how hard skills are. Of course, there's some gray areas, and sometimes it depends on the type of work that you're doing. So in some jobs, soft skills are highly valued, of course in some departments as well, and in others it will be the hard skills. So if you are a lab technician, it's possible that a lot of the things you're doing are based on hard skills. That is, you perform a task, you do a report, you type it out. Now, if you are someone in sales or marketing, not to say that people in sales or marketing don't have hard skills capabilities, or some of them aren't quants or mathematicians and so on. Just saying that depending on where you are working and how the workplace is organized, hard and soft skills would be presented and evaluated differently. So the department's part tries to ask how you encounter these in different departments. Now, the soft skills is grouped into three categories: your general approach to work, your social skills, and your decision-making or evaluation skills. And your hard skills concern specific tools, technologies, programming languages, and all the courses, well, as many courses as we can think of. And if we haven't thought of something, you can make notes and the person interviewing will take them down. So what we are hoping is, if we have a good view of all of these, specific to our scenario, that's the university we are in, the courses we have, we will be better able to teach and learn. So comments, as far as I can tell, or these are opinions, these are not facts, but arguable, of course, that awareness is important for intelligence, both emotional intelligence and the classical or intelligence quotient measurements. So if you are someone who is aware of what's going on, that knows your goals, what you're supposed to do, you're much more likely to succeed. If you sit in an exam room and you're given a piece of paper, a question, it's good to know what's the question about, what am I doing, how long do I have. Awareness, it's important. The next one is grades, certificates, and courses do not define individuals. Individuals define themselves. So no matter what you're going through, I'm hoping that as you interact with people, or people speak to you about their experiences, you would start to realize that it's not just programming, it's not just databases, it's not just operating systems, it's not just mobile applications. There are so many other skills that people have that make them successful. And that means you shouldn't feel boxed in by whatever has happened, or wherever you want to go, or what you think your experiences are, or how people have treated you. Those should not define you. You should come up with something that you know, hey, this is where I want to get, and you work at it. And I believe if you put in the work, you get it done. And I sincerely believe that education, at least in this organization, will improve with your participation. Over time, alumni, students do come back and tell us, but in snippets. Oh, I took this course, I used that programming language, and we try and quantify it in some way. We write them down. But in this way, taking this structured approach, we will be able to start performing some measurements and doing very intentional adjustments. So what we'll do next is to look at the letter. So there's a letter for people. And the letter is written, given out to all those doing interviews or being interviewed. You can read it out to them when you contact them, telling them why we're doing this, the contents of the questionnaire, and signed yours truly. My emails in case people have questions. And the questionnaire itself has a few questions. It's given out, the person doing the interview will have an Excel version. The person being interviewed will be given a PDF so that they can, by themselves, think through the different organization types. Though I believe we should come up with a better version. We started out from a very structured approach, and we are going to make a version that will print it out in a nicer detail. So we ask, for example, the organization's details, recruitment methods, social networking, that's all within recruitment methods. We ask about hard skills, we ask about soft skills, how they were evaluated. We talk about how hard skills are rated. We talk about training. We talk about departments on training, departments on skills, acquisition of competencies, soft skills in the various categories, and hard skills. Right? The impact of soft skills, and of course your hard skills. This is going through rather quickly. So what we would ask people to do is, there is an Excel document, and what I would want everyone to do is to actually go through it. And the Excel document has a few sheets. The first one is the people doing the interview. For this class, one person doing one interview is nice, but if you pair up, for example, if you know you're going to interview a person and your teammate is going to interview another person, I strongly think sometimes, depending on how you want to do this, you can have both of you interview each of the people you're supposed to interview. So 2 to 1, 2 to 1, as opposed to just you talking to the person alone. But I do believe you guys are seniors, or highly motivated, very competent, and can actually do this by yourself. So one person can interview one person. Now, if you look at the Excel sheet, so as you're interviewing the person, you'll be filling in the details. Right? So on the job, anytime you see choose, like with the dash, it means it's a drop down. And what I would ask you to do is to go through this before you actually start interviewing. Go through it yourself. And I'll ask you to hand in what you, if maybe your last job or where you want to end up, fill it in. Right? Even if it's an imaginary job, you can say, well, I went to work at, and I believe a lot of you have done internships, so you can pick your last internship. You can fill it out so you are aware of what's going on. And it's nice to do at least a practice in the group. You can all interview one person, or very quickly everybody would go through and answer, so that you have some ideas. So I would ask everyone to do this. So what you have here is the job 1, job 2, job 3. That means if the person has had more than one job, they can decide if they have the time to go through it. And if they've completed a section before and they say, well, I already completed in the last job, I don't want to repeat it, they can do that. Now we expect this would take 30 minutes to an hour. But meeting your group, one person interviews the other and the other person interviews back, just as the first run for practice before you go out and start talking to people. And so a lot of these would have drop downs. So what I want you all to do is, first of all, as I said, go through, and then you can go out and interview. So this will go out first, and then the names and contacts will follow. If you already have contact with specific alumni and want to utilize those contacts, you can do so. That is alumni of the university. You can say, I have somebody already that I want to talk to, and that's fine. It's encouraged, because having the ability to connect during an interview is important. So if you have someone you already want to interview, that can be done. Though, do tell the person it's for this specific course, and so if someone in the course has already interviewed the person, there's no need to do this twice. So do ask, of course, have you been interviewed about these competencies before, right, this year? Because this was designed in the last 2 or 3 months. So have you been interviewed in the last 2 or 3 months? Likely alumni, no. So it's just you, this is your first time. So you're just watching out for conflicts when you are trying to interview and someone else in the class is also trying to interview. So that is it for the skills and competencies. We will be contacting you with contacts, or you can message back. If you are a group of 2 or 3, you would get 2 or 3 people to interview. But as I said, if you have someone specific in mind, you can nominate and say, I already have someone I want to talk to. But I would hope that we don't have a group of people interviewing the same alumni over and over and over again. Everybody should have someone different. And I think the best is coordinate with the assistant for the course to make sure that there are no clashes. So before you go interviewing someone, just contact the assistant of the class, teaching assistant, and make sure you've told them who you're interviewing. At least first name, last name helps, so at least there won't be any conflicts, and they know that this group wants to interview that person. And if another person mentions the name, we can check. Thank you for listening.